In 1929, a German scholar was quietly cataloging old documents in the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul. Among piles of forgotten parchments, he found something that made him stop completely. It was a map drawn on gazelle skin, signed and dated 1513, a map of the world, remarkably accurate for its time. It showed Europe, Africa, South America, the Atlantic Ocean with extraordinary detail, and at the bottom, a continent that, according to every history book ever written, should not have been there. A continent that no European explorer would officially discover for another 300 years. Antarctica. How did a Turkish admiral in 1513 draw a map of a continent that wouldn't be found until 1820? Where did this information come from? And why does the map show Antarctica not covered in ice, exactly as it looks beneath its frozen surface today? Nobody has ever fully answered these questions. This is the story of the map that shouldn't exist. To understand the mystery, we first need to understand the man who drew the map, Piri Reis. His full name was Hagji Ahmed Muhyiddin Piri, was born around 1470 in what is now Turkey. He was not just a cartographer, he was an Ottoman admiral, a naval commander, and one of the most experienced sailors of his era. From a young age, he sailed the Mediterranean with his uncle Kemal Reis, a famous pirate turned naval officer. Piri Reis was no ordinary mapmaker. He was methodical, scientific, and obsessed with accuracy. He spent decades collecting maps from across the known world, from Greek scholars, from Portuguese explorers, from Arab geographers, and from sailors who had seen things no European had yet recorded. He noted in his own handwriting on the map that he used 20 different source documents to create it. 8 of them were ancient maps drawn during the time of Alexander the Great. 4 were Portuguese, 1 was Arabic, and 1, the most mysterious of all, was a map drawn by Christopher Columbus himself. A map that has never been found. A map that, as far as historians know, no longer exists anywhere on Earth. The map vanished from history almost immediately after it was drawn. In 1517, Piri Reis presented it to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I. After that, nothing. For over 400 years, it disappeared completely. Then, in October 1929, German theologian Gustav Deissmann was cataloging forgotten documents in the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul. He found a bundle of old parchments that nobody had looked at for centuries. Among them was a rolled piece of gazelle skin measuring roughly 87 centimeters by 63 centimeters, less than half the size of a standard door. When he unrolled it, he realized he was looking at something extraordinary. The map was detailed, beautiful, and deeply strange. It showed coastlines that European explorers were still in the process of mapping in 1513. It showed the Americas just 21 years after Columbus first reached them in remarkable detail. And at the bottom edge of the surviving fragment, it showed a landmass that had no business being there at all. Here is the mystery at the heart of everything. Antarctica was not officially discovered until 1820, when Russian explorer Fabian von Bellingshausen first sighted the continent. That is 307 years after Piri Reis drew his map. And yet, at the bottom of the 1513 map, there is a landmass, a large, continuous coastline stretching across the southern edge of the world. Some researchers believe this is Antarctica, not just Antarctica as we see it today, covered in ice, but Antarctica as it looked thousands of years ago, before the ice formed, the coastline beneath the ice. In 1965, Professor Charles Hapgood of the University of New Hampshire published a landmark study called Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings. He and his students compared the Piri Reis map to modern seismic surveys of Antarctica taken in 1949. Their conclusion was stunning. The coastline on the 1513 map matched the actual subglacial coastline of Antarctica, the rock beneath the ice, with remarkable accuracy. Even more astonishing, a U.S. Air Force officer named Captain Lorenzo Burrows, who had a background in cartography, wrote to Hapgood confirming, "The Princess Martha Coast of Queen Maud Land, Antarctica, appears to be truly represented on the Piri Reis map." If this is correct, and it is a very large if, then someone mapped Antarctica before the ice, someone who lived or had access to knowledge from thousands of years before any known civilization. Antarctica is not the only mystery on this map. Scholars have identified several other features that are difficult to explain. First, the accuracy of South America. In 1513, European explorers had been in the Americas for only 21 years. They had barely mapped the coastline, and yet the Piri Reis map shows the eastern coast of South America with extraordinary precision, including details that European cartographers would not confirm for decades. Second, the mapping technique. The map uses a mathematical projection that European cartographers did not develop until 1569. 56 years later, this technique, known as the Mercator projection, requires advanced knowledge of the spherical shape of the Earth and the ability to translate it accurately onto a flat surface. Piri Reis used it in 1513. Nobody can fully explain how. Third, the Columbus map. Piri Reis specifically states in his own notes that one of his 20 source documents was drawn by Christopher Columbus. No map created by Columbus has ever been found. If this source existed, and Piri Reis clearly believed it did, where is it now? And what did it show? Not everyone is convinced, and it is important to be honest about that. Most mainstream historians and geographers argue that the southern land mass on the Piri Reis map is not Antarctica at all. They believe it is most likely Terra Australis Incognita, a theoretical southern continent that ancient Greek geographers believed must exist to balance the land masses of the northern hemisphere. Maps of the period often showed this imaginary continent in various forms. Wikipedia and the majority of academic sources conclude that the Antarctica theory has been disproven. They point out that the shape of the southern landmass on the map does not accurately match the actual coastline of Antarctica beneath the ice, and that what looks like a match is partly the result of selective comparison. Furthermore, if the landmass on the map is Antarctica, then it would mean South America and Antarctica were once joined at what is now Uruguay, which would require rewriting much of what we know about the geography of the southern hemisphere. So the honest answer is this: we do not know. The mystery has never been definitively solved, and that, perhaps, is what makes this map so endlessly fascinating. If the map does show Antarctica, where did the information come from? Researchers have proposed several theories. None of them are comfortable. Theory 1: a lost ancient civilization. Professor Hapgood believed that a highly advanced prehistoric people, existing thousands of years before the Egyptian, Greek, or Babylonian civilizations, had the navigational and cartographic technology to map the entire world. Their knowledge, he argued, was passed down through generations of sailors and scholars, surviving in fragments, until it reached Piri Reis in the form of those 20 source maps. Theory 2: the knowledge of the ancient Greeks. The Greeks knew the Earth was spherical. They calculated its circumference with remarkable accuracy. Some researchers argue that Greek scholars, using advanced astronomical calculations, were able to theorize the existence and approximate location of a southern continent, and that this theoretical map was one of Piri Reis's sources. Theory 3: the most dramatic and the least scientifically supported, that the map was based on knowledge from a non-human source. Some fringe researchers have suggested that the accuracy of the map is so extraordinary that it could only have come from aerial observation, from beings capable of viewing the Earth from above. This theory has no credible evidence, but it exists, and it refuses to go away. The Piri Reis map currently rests in the Topkapi Palace Museum in Istanbul. Only a fragment of it survives, roughly 1/3 of the original. What the other 2/3 showed, we will never know. They are lost to history. What we do know is this: in 1513, a Turkish admiral drew a map on a piece of gazelle skin. He used 20 source documents, some of them ancient beyond any known civilization. The map shows coastlines that European explorers had not yet reached. It uses mathematical techniques that European cartographers had not yet developed. And at its southern edge, it shows something that, by every accepted account of history, could not possibly have been known in 1513. 500 years later, we still have no complete explanation. History tells us that Antarctica was discovered in 1820. The Piri Reis map was drawn in 1513. The gap between those two dates is 307 years, and somewhere inside that gap, lost in the silence of centuries, is an answer that nobody has yet found. If this mystery intrigued you, share it with someone who loves history. Leave a comment below. Do you believe the map shows Antarctica, or is it something else entirely? We read every single comment. Subscribe to Silent Chronicles for more stories that history forgot to tell.